Incoming message.
Think of all of the things that were once thought to be impossible. They were merely limitations of our experience, perspective, and mind at the time. Did anyone really think we would be able to walk on the moon 100 years ago? It is interesting when you realize that all of the materials necessary for an automobile existed in ancient Rome, but they didn't have the consciousness to bring it into existence. Think about that. And that is just one example. The mind is unlimited in capacity. Our limitations are dictated by the beliefs in which we choose to subscribe. Those things that we categorize as miracles are only labeled as such because of our limited thinking. Throughout history, visionaries and trailblazers have shattered the confines of conventional thinking, turning the seemingly impossible into reality. They never relied on the good opinions of other people. They had a clear vision. They possessed a unique ability to see beyond the constraints of their time and envision a future where innovation and progress prevailed. There are so many examples of remarkable instances where those who we now consider to be the greatest achievers of all time have defied the odds, challenged the status quo, and transformed what was once deemed impossible as a tangible achievement. By bringing their vision of possibility into our reality, they have expanded the consciousness of the world. Consider the invention of flight. At the turn of the 20th century, the idea of human flight was considered to be preposterous. Can you imagine the looks that the Wright brothers must have received when they suggested the possibility of such a ridiculous notion? But they were not deterred. They refused to accept this limitation. They had an unwavering belief, and in December 1903, the Wright brothers became the first to fly a powered, controlled, and sustained heavier-than-air aircraft. And as we know, their vision revolutionized transportation and gave birth to an entire new industry, aviation. They shaped the way that we connect and explore the world. In the 1960s, the notion of reaching the moon, well, that was just absurd. It was a fantasy made for books and movies. Yet, the Apollo 11 mission led by NASA reminded us of the triumph of human determination and ingenuity. And in 1969, Neil Armstrong took one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind and became the first person to set foot on the moon. It was audacity at its finest, an insane vision of reaching the moon brought to life by an unwavering belief and technological prowess. It may be difficult to imagine now, but computing used to be limited to large centralized systems and organizations. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, envisioned a future where personal computing would be accessible to people in their homes. And with the introduction of the Macintosh in 1984, Steve's vision was brought to fruition. It transformed the technology landscape and changed our lives forever. There are so many of these examples. Our history is filled with instances where visionaries dared to dream beyond the boundaries of impossibility. They dared to dream, continuing to find ways to bring their visions into reality, and they have reshaped the world in which we live. So examine your own life and look at feats which you once thought to be impossible. What changed your perspective? And what stands before you now that is considered to be impossible? And does that thinking really serve you? Break free of the chains of limitations. You cannot have faith and subscribe to limitation because success begins in the mind.